Welcome to the Personal Trainer Hustle. Personal Trainer Hustle. If you didn't know, you do now.
All right, let's get back to business today, you guys. Welcome back to the Personal Trainer Hustle podcast. Today, we are going to be talking about our words, what we say when we're in a session. And primarily, I want to talk about 3 things to avoid saying, okay? 3 things to be really mindful of when you're in a training session, because this may be harming your growth potential, okay? So what happens? As a personal trainer, we're looking to grow. We're looking to continue to grow, right? We have these dreams, at least a lot of us do. We have dreams of charging a certain amount or getting a promotion or getting a pay bump or hitting certain markers and certain goals in our personal training career. And a lot of times we think, I'm a great personal trainer, right? My sessions are fun, or my sessions are great, or my client is sweating, or my client is getting results, or my training sessions are very formulaic, right? My programs are really good. And so what happens is when we're that good, sometimes we don't realize we're harming ourselves in other ways. Okay. So all the things I listed, they're great things that you should be doing, right? Having fun sessions, having good programs, having people get a great workout, having people like the sessions, and all the things that a personal trainer does. These are good things that you're doing. But I want to also make you aware of something that you might not be thinking about that, like I said earlier, could be harming you. Okay. So I posted a little story about this, and now we're training it into an episode. So the story was on Instagram. For those of you guys following, you saw it, right? It said something along the lines of your clients are not paying to hear your problems, right? You wouldn't pay somebody to listen to you wouldn't pay someone to listen to their problems, right? You wouldn't sign up to go and listen to somebody's problems. And so your clients don't want to hear about your problems, right? And so that was kind of the post. Those of you guys that are not following, make sure to go follow me on Instagram. It's just at Personal Trainer Hustle. I'll link it in the episode below. But that's kind of where we're getting at with this, right? Talking about negative things is what we need to avoid. But I need to make you aware of certain specific phrases you may be using. So I chose just 3 basic things. Now, there's many things that you have to avoid when you're talking to clients, right? Sometimes the easy ones are sometimes just like religion, politics, and things like that. I didn't want to go on and on about those things today. So I narrowed it down to like 3 things that I think a lot of us just slip out and say. Okay. And the reason for that is because, well, a lot of us don't actually know what we do when we're personal trainers, right? When we're personal trainers, and let's lay the foundation here for what for the 3 things we're going to talk about today. What we don't understand about being a personal trainer is that our clients are hiring us as a leader, right? They are hiring us as someone that they look up to in a certain area. They're hiring us as someone who has certain tools, who has certain things about them, knowledge, abilities, lifestyle. There's certain things about the coach that the person hiring you wants to kind of tap into, right? You have discipline, you have leadership skills, you have something that they want to also have and achieve, and by hiring you they want to be closer to that goal, closer to that ideal in their mind. Now this may not be true, right? Maybe you have a lot of issues going on, maybe you don't have it all together, and that's fine. You're not supposed to be perfect, but what I want you to be aware of as we talk about these things today is that is sometimes the mindset that somebody's coming into training with you. And so even though, yes, they're hiring you for the workout, they're also hiring you for a lot of other reasons, right? It's not just the workout, it's that they look up to you in a certain way, right? They may admire you, they may respect you. And if they don't, or if they get a semblance of not having those things, then they might respect you less. They might trust you less. They might admire you less. They might look up to you less. And that's what we're talking about today. So let's jump into just 3 things. Now, like I said, there's a lot of things that we have to be careful that we talk about, but these are just 3 that maybe you don't realize that you're saying, okay? Because these are very common that we hear all the time. It even happens in my gym, right? Sometimes we hear a trainer, right? I was talking to Sean the other day. He overhears these things, and it's like, we're like, dude, what are you doing? You're working with a client. You can't be doing and saying these things, right? So now we've turned it into an episode. The conversation I had with Sean about this now has become an episode today. So number one, we're going to start real basic, and that is expressing that you are stressed, tired, sleepy, anything like that is something that slips out when we're in the middle of a session, right? So when we're working with someone, we'll say things like, "Oh man, I'm so tired," because we've trained a lot of people already, or because we have two jobs sometimes, right? So we'll say we're tired. And what we don't realize is that they feel that way too, right? And so again, when they realize, "Oh, my coach is tired too," then they're going to start to in the back of their mind feel like, "Well, if this person's a fitness expert and they're supposed to be energized and they're supposed to be getting good sleep and good nutrition, if they're sleepy, if they're tired, if they're groggy, then they may not have it together the way that I thought they had it together." Right. And so these are these risky moments in our conversations with our clients where we don't realize we've actually done some harm to their perception of us, to the way that they look up to us. We may have harmed it by just complaining, right? And I chose sleepy, tired, stressed, right? When we verbalize those things, and there's many other things you may be verbalizing, but when we verbalize certain negative aspects of our life, our schedule, our timing, like I said, you may be losing their admiration and their respect, right? Because a lot of these people are looking up to you. So you may not even realize that that's what you're doing when you say these things, right? Another thing that's important to remember here, and something that I try to talk to trainers about all the time, is that you have to think about their experience. What do I mean when I say their experience? Look at things through their eyes, right? This is a bigger lesson in today's episode. Learning to look at this experience through their lens, through their eyes, right? To you, this person may be your first person early in the morning, or they may be your last person at 8 or 9 p.m. And so to you, you may verbalize how tired you are. You may verbalize how stressed you are. You may verbalize how sleepy you are, or you want to go home and get some rest. It's been a long day. You may verbalize it because you just trained 7, 8, 9 people. But to them, you are their only coach. For most of them, you're the only coach. Now, there are some people that have multiple coaches. I've trained them where somebody else is their nutrition, somebody else is their martial arts, and then I'm their strength coach, right? So that's happened. But for the most part, when they get in their car to come see you, or when they log online and take time out of the day to come see you, even if it's online or whatever it is, they make time out of their day to have a training session with you, to pick up their spirits, to feel energized, to get more mobile, to break a sweat, to do something about their health, to feel better, more confident, right? They're coming at it from this attitude of like, I need to see my trainer so that I can do better, feel better, grow. And then when you come in, or when they meet you and you're like, "Oh man, what a long day. I'm so tired." You're bringing the energy down, right? They already feel tired. They're hoping that this is a positive, great experience, and you're bringing it down. The bigger point I wanted to make here is that you're their one trainer. You can't forget that you're their only trainer, right? Because they are your seventh person today. You can't treat them like the seventh person. You have to treat them as if they're the first person, because to them, this is their first session of the day. So you have to learn, and that's the bigger picture in today's episode, is learning to see it from their perspective, right? Think about the person that looked at their clock, made the time, took a shower, got ready, got in their car, drove over, maybe sat in some traffic, all for this training session with you. You better keep your spirits up for them, because they're not going to understand when they walk into the gym fresh and ready to do something and your energy's down. That doesn't make sense. And so you have to be mindful of that, right? How's your energy? And more than anything, also the words that you use to express how you're feeling. So you have to be mindful of that. Because I'm not saying you have to be a superhero. I'm not saying it's not true, but using them as an escape, it can be a slippery slope, Okay. So you have to maybe talk to your friends, maybe do some meditation, maybe, talk to a therapist, like whatever may be going on is an issue that does not need to fall on them. So you have to be really mindful of that. The second thing that you may be doing that you don't even realize is ruining your relationship with your clients is talking negatively about other clients. And this happens eventually to almost everybody. You have to be very, very careful. You never, ever, ever want to speak ill of other clients, whether they are your other clients, or they are clients that some other trainer is training. And I'm going to add another one to it that wasn't in my notes. You also cannot be speaking negatively about other trainers. No matter what beef you have with people, no matter how much they rub you the wrong way, no matter their beliefs, their political beliefs, their religious beliefs, their lifestyle beliefs, in that session, the session should be a positive experience for the person that you're working with. When you, again, forget that you're going to bring those issues that are part of your own personal life, right? Maybe that person has no problem with the other trainers. Maybe that person has no problem with the other clients, but you bringing it up is going to bring that negative energy. And here's the bigger problem. The part that we don't realize that is happening in our subconscious mind is that when people hear others talk about people that are not present, they're going to be left to assume that this is probably what you do when they're not there, right? So again, what happens? They're going to lose trust. They're going to lose admiration. They're going to lose belief in you, right? They're going to lose looking up to you. All of these things are going to start happening. Why? Because even though your workout is great or your program is great or your physical body is great, right? Maybe you're like, "Oh, I'm in such great shape. People are going to want to work with me." Yes, but if you're going around talking negatively about other people, they're going to mistrust you. They're going to doubt you. They're going to doubt that what happens, right? They're going to have it in the back of their mind that when they leave, you're going to be sharing their life with someone else, right? Because it's not just speaking negatively about other people. This is another point. Also, just talking about others' personal lives, other people's personal lives with them. Again, what's going to happen, right? In the moment, we don't think about it. We're just talking, oh, whatever, my client said this. Can you believe that? They're going through this. Okay, that's fine. But what's going to happen is I don't want to share anything with you anymore because I think you're also the type of person that's going to tell my business to other people, and that's something that makes me feel uncomfortable. And I'm telling you because I would feel the exact same way if I was training with someone and they were gossiping about other people. I would assume that they're going to gossip about me, so I would stop saying, I would stop sharing, I would stop oversharing or feeling comfortable being open with this person because I would feel that eventually they're going to tell other clients about me, or I would walk in and if they were talking in the corner, I would think they're probably talking about me, right? So again, what's the point of having this conversation with you guys? You may be hindering your growth potential because of the words that you use, because of the things that you express, right? Why may you not be getting the higher paying clients? Why are you stuck with these clients? Because these clients function at a lower level, right? To get higher paying clients, you have to have higher awareness, higher conversational skills, right? Higher positivity, higher discipline, higher awareness. All of these things have to be heightened for you to be able to work with heightened people, right? So, for example, right, somebody like myself with experience, with whatever, I would go in, I would, let's say, I do martial arts every once in a while. I like to be involved in that. So if I went in and I hired a boxing coach and all they did was talk about other clients, all they did was talk about how sleepy they are, somebody like me that doesn't go around being negative, that doesn't go around being sleepy, somebody that could afford to go sign up for some boxing, right? I don't want to function in that world. And that's a separate topic, but I'm just going to kind of drop it here before we move to the next point. A lot of these things are about like frequency, if you want to look at it like that, or like ability to speak and understand certain languages. One of the hardest things when you're a new trainer or when you're young in the game is you're working with professionals. And usually we're just starting off trying to figure out our career in personal training. We're making mistakes, right? And so the person that we're trying to train functions in a different reality than the one that we're in. And so that's always something that you want to grow into, right? You want to grow as a person. You want to grow in your discipline. You want to grow in your knowledge and your awareness and your positivity, because usually the part that we don't understand is usually the people that we're training are functioning in that reality. and we aren't yet. And so even though we can't see, for example, right, everything I've talked about today, you guys that are doing this, you can't hear yourself doing it. Only somebody that has gained mastery of how they express themselves, only somebody who has gained mastery of controlling how they feel or how they respond to stress and issues, only someone who has done it and mastered it can hear and see the person that is doing it. The person doing it has no clue. That's why I wanted to talk about it with you guys today. You guys doing it have no clue that you're doing it. You're probably hearing me right now thinking, oh, that's not me. It probably is you. That's the issue here, is that you don't think that you're doing this. You think that you're aware, and you don't realize I have been talking about other clients. I have been talking negative about other clients. I've been oversharing other clients' lives. I've been oversharing about my own life. I've been showing up and I'm telling them how sleepy I am, how tired I am, how stressed I am, right? I'm expressing. You don't realize it because we're not aware. And so hopefully today, some of you guys can just grow in awareness, not just about what I'm talking about today, just general awareness as to the language that you use, the way that you express yourself on a day to day basis. Is it negative or is it positive? Is it in control or is it out of control? Right? I'm going to give you guys something to think about and maybe test out on yourself, right? I'm going to give you some homework. When you feel like saying something, do you have enough control not to say it? I'll give you guys a very easy thing you can do. Next time you're driving and the light turns red and you want to honk, do you have enough self-control to just say, I'm not going to honk just yet? If somebody cuts you off when you're driving, can you have enough control to to not yell or flip them off or step on the accelerator, right? This is a very, very basic thing. And with Sean, we talked about it because it was one of the first things we started doing to learn discipline around our emotions and our feelings, right? We were like, oh, I'm going to practice it in the car. This is where I get stressed the most. So let me see if I can be in control. And so this is a good test for you guys to see how aware and in control you are, right? Next time something happens, do you have the ability to choose how you react, right? And this is not easy to do. It's going to be very, very, very hard for most people to do, but this is going to shine a light on your growth potential in this area, right? It's going to really shine a light on probably how you function in many aspects of your life. If somebody says something, do you feel the need to correct? Do you feel the need to be right? Do you feel the need to express how you feel? Do you feel the need to one up them in a conversation? Oh, I've been to it. Oh, I've been here. Oh, I went on vacation here. Oh, I went here. Right? Do you have any self awareness as to what you say and how you express yourself? It's a never ending practice, right? But it's just, I just wanted to give you an example to show you that most of us are not in control of the things that come out of our mouth. We don't think before we speak. And so if that's you, then more likely than not, you're probably saying something in a session that could possibly be harming the growth potential of your career, right? Just throwing it out there as someone who's been training for a while, it happens, right? And it happens to all of us. And I've fallen victim to it too, where a client wants to talk about negative stuff and I'm down there with them rolling in the mud as well, right? And that's not a good look for them. It's not a good look for me. It's not a good look for the people around. And it's not a good look for those of you guys that work in big corporate gyms. Sometimes the person standing a few feet away from you was considering hiring a trainer. And based on what they hear you say, they're not going to choose you, right? So you may be doing your own harm the way you behave, the way that, because there's also behavior, there's also a lot of different things that are happening, right? People are watching you. And so you, again, like I said, the bigger picture here is you may be harming your growth potential based on what you're saying and how you're behaving, even though you think nobody else is noticing. Many people are, and that's the unfortunate truth here. So I'm trying to just shine a light on it to make you a little more aware of it so that you can be more in control and more aware and actually do something about it instead of just letting life pass you by and then you're wondering what happened, right? Why did I never make it as a trainer? What, maybe this was one of those things. I don't know. There's so many lessons to learn, but this is just one of them and maybe it can help somebody out there. Okay, the third thing that we say that is negative, and this happens a lot during the week, I remember catching myself almost saying this, and the reason why I left this one last is because this one highlights the difference between working in a service like personal training and just working at a regular job, where you're not dealing with the customers, where you're not dealing with people, right? So what's one thing that every single person that has worked a job has ever said? Oh man, I can't wait for the weekend. Oh, I'm looking forward to the weekend. Oh, is it Friday yet? Oh, it's only Monday. You guys know this is true. This is why I wanted to hit you with this one last. Everyone talks about, oh, it's only Monday. Oh, it's only Tuesday. Oh, tomorrow's Friday. Oh, can't wait for the weekend. Oh, this weekend I can't wait to rest, right? And I keep saying because that's the this is the feeling that we have around work, right? Most of us have a negative relationship with work. And personal training, even though it's hard, even though there is some hard parts about it, you cannot do that because the person in front of you, and we forget this, right? But the person in front of you is the work. So when I complain about the long week to my customer, I'm saying working with you is tiring. Working with you is miserable. Working with you is the last thing that I want to do. What I want to do is be done working with you so that I can have some time to myself, because doing this with you fucking sucks. That's what you're saying every time you talk about the weekend. Every time you talk about the weekend, every time you talk about how far the weekend is, with your clients, even though they may agree, they have a different job than you, right? They do look forward to the weekend because they have a regular 9 to 5, or they have a 6 to whatever, or they're whatever it is, they can complain about it to you because it has nothing to do with you. But when you complain about work to your client, they are your work. And so what you're saying is everything I just said. You are letting them know that you don't enjoy working with them. And whether that's true or not, because not every client is amazing, not every day is great, things happen in our life. It's okay if you're looking forward to the weekend. That's fine if you feel it. That's no problem feeling that, because work is still work, right? I'm not saying, oh, be so happy that you should convince yourself that you love working 12 hours a day and just be happy. No, I'm not saying that. We all feel tired. We all feel stressed, right? We all look forward to a break when we're working hard. When we're working hard, we all go through it. But expressing it to the individual that is paying your bills, the individual that is hiring you to work with them 2 to 3 times a week, they're the reason why you even get to do this job. You need to take a moment to pause and be grateful and just change the way that you're processing your conversation with them, because it can be a slippery slope, right? You don't want to feel or make them feel like they are a burden, like you don't want to work with them, because what they're going to do is start to look for someone else who does look forward to seeing them, someone who just is happier, someone who just avoids the topic altogether, which is all that I would suggest is learn. This is why I said earlier, right, in the episode, I was saying you have to learn to control, to pause between the time you feel something and the time you express it. You need to learn to pause. And that's why I said driving is a great place to do it, because sometimes it's a stressful thing, especially if you live in a big city. But find your own thing, right? Maybe you have someone in your life that always says something that makes you like, ugh, I'm frustrated, right? Take a pause. Why is that so important? Because if not, then you make mistakes, you do damage that you cannot reverse, right? So if you don't have control and you think, oh man, I can't wait for the weekend, and then you don't think about it and you just say it, you've just laid the foundation for this person to feel a certain way that you may not be able to recover from, right? So the best thing to do is when you feel it, when you're about to say it, is just don't, right? You don't have to replace it with anything. You can just take a breath, think about it, and then in your mind go, oh yeah, make sure you don't say that. And I'm telling you from experience, because that's exactly what happens to me in my mind. I always go, oh, don't say that. Sometimes when I'm selling a package, I'm about to say something. I'm like, oh, don't say that. Right. There's a little bit of a pause wherever I can. It's not perfect. We all say things that we wish we didn't say. We say things we don't realize that we're saying. It happens to all of us, right? I'm not pretending to be an expert in this. Like, we all are going to have things that we're saying. This is why having a mentor is very important, right? Like with Sean, We bounce ideas off each other. We try to be real with each other, right? Because if I don't see it, he may see it. And if he doesn't see it, I may see it, right? So we have someone that we can be realistic with about like, hey, you're saying this or you're doing this or you're standing here or why did you step back in that moment, right? Like that person almost fell or whatever it is, right? This is why it's important to have mentorship. This is why it's important to be open to people's suggestions sometimes, as long as they're ahead of you, as long as they have some type of position or experience that can help you. Of course, you can't just listen to everybody because, again, everyone's going to have a different opinion about everything. But it's important to try to be self-aware in these moments, these conversations. And I just wanted to make sure that I made you guys aware of the damage that you may be causing in your relationship with your customers based on the way that you're expressing yourself, based on the way that you're talking about how you feel about the weekend, about how tired you are, about other clients, right? All these negative things that you're saying, even though they seem harmless, even though they seem like just something that everyone says. Hey, everyone says they were waiting for the weekend. Sam, what's the big deal? Like I said, the big deal is this person is your work and you're making them feel like they're the reason why you want a weekend. You want to get away from it. So the opposite is what normally we do, right? We talked about this with Sean recently, and he was like, and this happened to him and it happens to me, right? Sometimes the clients are like, oh, tomorrow's Saturday. Like, aren't you excited about the weekend? Sometimes they bring it up. And you know what Sean and I learned to say? We say, oh, we love working with you guys so much, we don't even think about it. Whether that's the truth or not, we flipped it to make a negative and a potential negative moment. We use it as a bigger bonding moment with them, right? So we use that opportunity, even though we didn't bring it up. The moment they go, oh my gosh, it's Friday, it's Friday or it's Thursday, tomorrow's Friday, aren't you excited? Instead of falling for the trap, not that they're setting it up for you, right? They're just speaking regularly or normally, but instead of falling for it, again, the awareness that I hope that you pick up from today's episode is the moment they say, oh, tomorrow's this, or when are you going on vacation or whatever, we flip it and we go, oh yeah, that's great. I'm probably going to go out and enjoy it. But I love working with you, so I don't really think about the weekend like that. That's normally what we say. Again, why? Because I'm aware. They may not even be aware of what was about to happen, but you need to be aware enough to flip it to a positive and say, hey, I don't think about the weekends that way, right? Oh, I saw your client, right? They may bring it up because that's the other thing, right? That's why this lesson has to be talked about and given. Your clients may walk in and be like, oh my gosh, I didn't like your client that just left. She gave me a nasty look. Oh yeah, she's kind of mean like that. Ooh, you fell for it. You have to defend your client. They're part of your team and they're part of your growth. And also, again, this is an opportunity to show them that you don't talk about people that way. So if they say, oh, I ran into them, oh, yeah. Oh, I know sometimes she seems like that, but actually she's the loveliest person. She's so nice when you get to know her. Like whatever, tell them a story about something positive. She's so nice. Anyway, how's your day, right? And you flip the script, right? So now they're going to think, oh, wow, she defended her. He would defend me and say nice things about me too. So again, you're bonding with people instead of falling for easy traps where you talk about negative things. You can use all of those things to bond a little bit more if you think about it. If you really think, like what I said in the beginning of the episode, if you really think about their perspective, you're going to learn to change how you behave, how you talk, how you dress, how you think, right? You're going to think about different things, right? Something that's happened before. It's crazy to think. And a lot of you guys do this, right? But sometimes trainers show up having a soda, having a candy bar, having some chips, right? Again, what happens when you look at it through your lens? You go, well, I'm fit and this is my little treat, right? They don't know that I had a protein shake. Sure. But the thing is, again, from their perspective, they're not understanding, right? You're having sugar. Is that okay? Oh no, it's not okay for you, but it's okay for me. Okay. That may be true. I'm just giving you things to think about that you may be doing that you don't even realize that you're doing, right? Sometimes we show up without our uniform, then we have to go to the bathroom and change in front of them and they're waiting. And like, again, these are not bad things, but they add to the friction that may be happening that a lot of us are just not aware of. And then when these people don't renew, we feel offended because we're like, well, my workouts were great. They lost 10 pounds. Why don't they want to continue? Well, it's your lack of awareness of the way that your session feels based on the things that you talk about and how you express yourself and how you made them feel, sometimes without even meaning. You didn't mean to make them feel that way, but you kind of did. And so now what are we going to do? Right? We have to deal with the consequences and hopefully over time become more and more aware of how we make people feel, right? And when the more you master the game of training, the more you realize, man, this game is all about making that person feel seen, feel heard, obviously feel the results, feel the workout, but that's a given. The addition to that is also making them feel like they're in a safe space. They're in a comfortable space, right? You're safe with me. Your secrets are safe with me. Your fitness is safe with me. You know, whatever it is safe with me. Your feelings are safe with me, right? Like that it's a marker of a next level trainer when you can make people feel safe. What happens at that point, and I'll give you guys the bigger picture here of why it's important to make people feel comfortable and safe around your being, not just your fitness, but who you are. They won't want to work with anyone else, right? If you are the keeper of how they feel, right? You know that they're stressed about work, but they can't tell that to anyone. And I'm not saying that this is your job, but this is just what happens. They're going to share things with you. And if they can feel secure and feel uplifted and understood and comfortable in your presence, right? Because this is all separate than the workouts. Feeling heard, understood, seen, comfortable has nothing to do with the squats. It has everything to do with you. And so that's the bigger lesson. The bigger lesson is learning to grow as a person. So this person and the people that you meet, you know how to manage these conversations. You know how to manage the personalities to where they feel so understood by you that this is the magic of your long-term career. The long-term career is built on people that don't want to work with anyone else, because not only are you the best trainer, not only do you always keep their fitness and their health top of mind, but you're also always uplifting. You're also always understanding. You also always have a different perspective. You also always keep, what they say to you private, right? You always listen to what they have to say, and you never judge them on what they're saying. When you can give all of that and learn to give all of that, because we're not born with this skill, right? A lot of us are just learning how to put a program together. And now I'm telling you there's more to it. Exactly. This is why you should always be learning, because not only do you need to keep learning a million things in health and fitness, but you also need to learn a million things about relationships, right? And this is going to happen over time. I just hope that as you guys grow in your career, you can always kind of have today's message in the back of your mind as just a little awareness. I could make them feel more comfortable. I got to make sure I listen better. I almost said something about them that I shouldn't have said. Okay, I got to make sure. And it's practice, just like everything else. It's just practice over years and years and years, to where now you've developed relationships with people where you're their only coach. They don't want to work with anyone else. And that's how you build a stable client base. Not just results. And I'm not ignoring that, because that is the job primarily. Number one, it's the fitness, of course. But I'm just saying, given that, if that is obvious, I'm trying to let you in on a little secret on the other side. Not only do you want to be a great coach, have the certifications, have the knowledge, have the skills, because that's a big part of it, right? If you can be a great coach, people look for you 100%, of course. But if you can add that comfort level, you can have clients for a very long time. You're going to make your life easier. You're going to create a reputation. People are going to want to pay more to be part of your program, not only because of the results, but because of the relationship. So it's just something to think about. It's not the cure all, but it's just something to think about. All right. So that's today's episode. You guys send in your questions. You're welcome to send questions into the podcast. If this is the first time you guys are listening to the podcast, we have the personaltrainerhustle.com. Personaltrainerhustle.com is the website for the podcast, and it's set up in a way where you guys can go there. There's a little form, and you can send questions in. I get those questions. I turn them into episodes we call Q&A. That's just, I read your question and I give you my perspective, my take, my advice, my tips, my experiences around that subject. All right. So if you guys have a question, always feel free. You can go to personaltrainerhustle.com, send your questions in that way. I've gotten some questions through just DMs. Okay. Some of them I've been able to respond quickly. But I also have said, I might have to make episodes about those questions, which is great, right? We keep learning, we keep responding. So I've gotten back to some of you guys. You guys are super active on Instagram, which is awesome. I've gotten a lot of messages. So feel free. You guys can follow on Instagram at Personal Trainer Hustle. And you can DM me, send me a message, send me a question. Right now, I'm still able to get back to everybody at some point. So feel free to, just give me your experience, where you're at. If you have a question or if you just want to leave a comment, you're welcome to do that. Those are always appreciated. So feel free to connect with me that way as well. You can follow me on Instagram, or you can go to the website and just send in your question more formally that way. All right. That is all we've got for today. I got to get back to the real work of, promoting and running the gym. So that's my primary thing, and that's what I got to get back to. So I hope you guys are also focused on your careers right now. Don't be distracted. Don't listen to podcasts all day without doing work. Don't watch videos all day without doing work. At some point, you have to stop. You got to do the work. All right. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.